Hey guys, good morning. Welcome back to our channel, Dayton Squad. So on today's travel update is the latest arrival process of the revised testing and quarantine protocols for passengers coming to the Philippines. Steps coming right up. So the Philippine government has issued a new rule for testing and quarantine protocols to all passengers coming from the barred countries. These are the 35 countries that are currently on travel ban to the Philippines. I will walk you through the steps on the new arrival protocols when you land in Manila or in Cebu or in Clark. So on today's reference is from Philippine Airlines. The Philippine government's Interagency Task Force on the Management of Emerging and Infectious Diseases, or IATF, has revised the testing and quarantine protocols for passengers. These are Filipino citizens and eligible non-Filipinos arriving in the Philippines from countries where travel restrictions are in place due to the new COVID-19 variants. Effective January 23, 2021, passengers arriving in the Philippines from countries covered by travel restrictions shall be given RT-PCR testing upon arrival and shall be given the option to avail of a second swab test on their 5th day of quarantine. So let us proceed on the procedures of these new arrival protocols in the Philippines. Number 1, passengers arriving in the Philippines are required to register on case investigation forms, depending on their traveler type and port of entry. For land-based OFWs arriving in Manila, you have to register with Red Cross. For land-based OFWs, you need to create or update your account on the OFW Assistance Information System, or OASIS. For sea-based OFW arriving in Manila, you have to register at ecif.firstaid.ph. And for all non-OFWs passengers, including returning overseas Filipinos, authorized foreign nationals, etc., arriving in Manila, will have to register with MNL PAL ECIF. This is if you are flying with Philippine Airlines. If you are not flying with Philippine Airlines, you will have to register with PADLAB. I will leave all these links in the description box of this video to those categories that I mentioned. Passengers arriving in Cebu, Mactan Cebu International Airport are required to register online not earlier than 5 days prior to their flight departure via the passenger arrival registration form. Passengers arriving in Clark must download and fill out the required forms. I will also leave the link for the registration if you land in Cebu, and I will also leave the link and the form that you need to fill out if you land in Clark International Airport in the description box of this video. Step number 2. For OFWs arriving in Manila, swab testing on arrival will be carried out by the government one-stop shop, free of charge. For non-OFWs and eligible non-Filipinos arriving in Manila, swab testing will be carried out by Philippine Airlines one-stop shop for a fee of 4,000 pesos. Discounts for senior citizens and PWDs apply. Number 3, passengers will proceed to the respective quarantine facilities or hotel. So on the third step, this is when you approach the DOT desk for facility assignment. If there is a government facility that is available by the time you get to Manila, then you can avail it, but please be prepared just in case there is no availability on the free government facility. Then you will have to book your hotel in an accredited hotel for quarantine, and you will have to pay for it. Number 4, when passengers swab under the PAL one-stop shop receive a negative test, they shall receive an email providing them the option to either avail of a second swab test by Philippine Airlines testing partner, Directives, on the 5th day of quarantine, or to continue their quarantine stay up to the 14th day. Passengers who chose to avail of the second swab test by Directives will register on the email. They may prepay online or on-site. The prepayment link is included in the email. So I wanted to reiterate step number 4. You have the option if you want to avail the second swab testing. So if you want to avail this, you will have to pay another 4,000 pesos for the second swab testing. But if you do not want to undergo another swab testing again, then you will have to complete the 14-day mandatory quarantine by the Philippine government, either in a government facility provided by the Philippine government for free, but this is subject to availability, or staying in an accredited hotel for quarantine. Please note that OFW passengers swab under the government one-stop shop will be guided accordingly by the Philippine Coast Guard. Number 5, once the second swab test is administered on the 5th day of the quarantine, passengers must continue their hotel or facility stay and wait results. Number 6, a passenger who tests negative on the second swab test must register via DOH BOQ certificate page to receive his or her quarantine and medical certificate. Passengers will present the 2 negative test results and the certificate of clearance and check out from the hotel. Completion of the 14-day quarantine at home under the monitoring of one's local government unit is highly encouraged. So we have a tutorial video on how to obtain your BOQ certificate after you have done your quarantine and after you have received your swab test result. I will leave the link of the tutorial video on the description box of this video. Number 7, a passenger who tests positive on the second swab test will be provided proper guidance by the BOQ on the succeeding steps. So these are the 7 steps that you need to go through on the new arrival protocols on the revised testing and quarantine protocols in Manila or in Cebu or in Clark. So please take note of this new rule imposed by the Philippine government that started January 23 of 2021. For passengers already in quarantine, Philippine Airlines passengers swab under the PAL one-stop shop and who are already in quarantine for a minimum of 5 days will receive an email providing them the option to either avail of a second swab test by Philippine Airlines testing partner Directives, or to continue their quarantine stay up to the 14th day. Effective January 23 and onwards, RT-PCR testing for passengers on their 5th day of quarantine in stringent quarantine hotels will be ruled out. Exempted from travel restrictions. The Philippine government's latest directive also expanded the coverage of exemptions from current restrictions on inbound travel to the Philippines from countries with cases of the UK COVID variant. Exempted from the passenger ban on inbound travel to the Philippines are foreign nationals with valid visas, which includes personnel of accredited international organizations, spouse and minor children of Filipino citizens traveling with them, and persons arriving for medical and emergency cases, including their medical escorts, if any. The said passengers are now subject to applicable testing and quarantine protocols as prescribed by the Department of Health. Easing of age restrictions. The IATF is relaxing age-based restrictions for areas placed under Modified General Community Quarantine or MGCQ beginning February 1, 2021. According to IATF Resolution 95, Any person below 10 years old and those who are over 65 years old of age shall be required to remain in their residence at all times. Local government units or LGUs, on the other hand, are being enjoined to adopt the same relaxation of age restrictions for areas under General Community Quarantine or GCQ. So please take note of this new guideline imposed by the Philippine government to all travelers traveling to the Philippines, especially if you are originating from the barred countries. There are 35 countries currently on travel ban to the Philippines until January 31st of 2021. So this is our travel update for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you find this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends and family whom you know that can use this video as reference. If you are new to our channel, welcome. We do travel updates, and if you are not a subscriber yet, please consider subscribing and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you will be notified every time we have updates like this. And to our subscribers and new subscribers, thank you so much for the continued support and trust to our channel, the Eaton Squad. I hope to see you guys in our next travel update. Stay safe, stay healthy, and God bless everyone. Bye!
Right.